Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, we've had such a rough start in the market that I've been really hitting on the stock market stuff this morning. I want to again put out for the first 10 callers retirement income analysis, free retirement income analysis. Call my office, 615-376-5325. I'm going to help you with things that have to do with retirement. How do you invest for growth? How do you protect your assets at the same time? Because we got to stay ahead of inflation and taxes, so we need growth to do that. We don't, you're needing to make 3 to 5% on your money. Where are you going to do that? It's hard to do it in CDs, right? And in traditional safe things like treasuries, even 10-year CDs and 10-year treasuries, you're looking at a 2% return. Not enough. The next thing, how do you protect your assets? And that's the other part. While seeking this growth, how do I make sure I don't lose a lot of money? And then how much income you're going to need? Do you know how much income you need in retirement to make sure that you can cover your standard of living, your monthly expenses? Have you sat down and basically determined what are your total monthly expenses averaged out over the year? Okay, what's your income from Social Security, pension, or whatever other income sources, rental property, whatever it might be from, and then how much are you going to need to be able to pull out of retirement assets to make up the difference, okay? And how can you do that in the safest way? That's all we covered that and more in this free retirement income analysis. So if you'd like to get a view of here's what I'm doing now, can I retire? Talking to a couple recently, and that's one of the big concerns they had. I think I got to work for two more years, maybe 5 more years, having some health issues, a little concerned about, the quality of life and the rest of it, and they were really worried. And one of the things when we go through is we're determining, do you have to work? All right, if you want to work, great, but do you have to work? And it's determining when is enough, all right? When can I retire? When would I be okay and not have to worry about running out of money? What strategies can I employ to help make sure, in fact, that I can accomplish that goal? All of that and more in this retirement income analysis. And when you call the office, Debbie will get your information. She'll send you out a checklist of things to bring to the appointment, and she'll also send you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. And this covers in the first few chapters what this process looks like, as well as how to save taxes, how to save money, how the smart money invest, and safe money strategies. All of that, long-term care, estate planning. There are legacy issues as well, and we're going to cover that as a part of the retirement income analysis. There are ways, in fact, imagine how would it be if you knew, for those, I have some clients, for instance, that come in and they've got IRAs that they don't, they're not going to need to pull money from. They recognize at age 70 and a half, they have to take those RMDs, those required minimum distributions by IRS rules, but maybe they may not need that money. They're going to have to take it out, pay tax on it, reinvest it. It may be money they're intending to leave to their children or grandchildren. Well, imagine that you could have a guarantee that said you could take those RMDs, and no matter what happened in the stock market, no matter what happened with your underlying investment, in other words, that you could in fact protect it so that you'd be able to take the required minimum distributions and still protect the principal to go on to your beneficiaries. That's the type of legacy planning, and there are products and strategies that can accomplish that as well. So key things to keep in mind, there's some, when it comes to retirement income analysis, we also get into things about Social Security. There are a lot of different ages that are coming up. Age 55, that's a key age with regard to being able to take money from a 401k without a tax penalty. Age 59 and a half, being able to take money out of an IRA without a tax penalty. Age 62, the earliest in which you can take Social Security benefits, granted at a reduced amount. Age 65, Medicare eligibility, and all the myriad, that's so complicated. Wait till, that's one of the most confusing things for people, is trying to determine how to sign up for Medicare in terms of, Part A, Part B. When you call Social Security Administration, Medicare to sign up, for your eligibility at age 65, depending on whether you're still working, whether you're not working, how the rules might apply there, the premiums that might need to be paid, depending on, again, Part B premium, Part D premium, what's the difference between a Med Sup or combining everything under Medicare Advantage. again, we deal with that all the time. We can help you with all those very difficult decisions and make sure you get the right one to minimize costs and get the coverage you want. Healthcare costs is the second highest cost in retirement. All right, managing that cost is so important. Then again, you get into age 66, full retirement age. Age 70 is the high, that's if you've delayed retirement or delayed taking Social Security. That's the maximum on which you can delay in terms of how much it'll benefit you, in terms of how high that monthly benefit would be. And then last 70 and a half, when you have to start taking your required minimum distributions to avoid that 50% penalty, how to go about that. And again, you know, we get into other things like Roth and the rest. So that's a lot, right? All right, now back to investing. Let's look at the Mosaic. Okay, so we'll start with harnessing positive momentum. Here's how the Mosaic took. This is another indices that JP Morgan came up with. Pretty interesting. They take 12 different asset categories from around the country, or excuse me, around the world. So both domestic and international. They then select the 6 top asset classes with the greatest positive returns over the previous 6 months. They then weight those, in other words, more money of your into the better of those. They each selected asset class is strategically weighted to provide a more stable return, to maximize return at the same time. Now, does it work? Well, let's take a look at the chart. Now, if we look since 1999, and we're going to compare it, smoothing volatility to create stable returns. And you can see in the blue, that's the S&P 500 index over since 1999. So if we look at that period, even when the dot-com bubble burst, the S&P 500 declined 47%, while the JP Morgan Mosaic Index would have grown 17%. Huge difference, all right? The next period, when we look at during the financial crisis of 2008, the S&P 500 declined 56.24%, while the JP Morgan Mosaic Index would have grown nearly 8.6%. Crazy differences. Smoothing out the volatility, protecting you against downturns like one we may be well facing right now. And if you look at the average return over that 15-year period, the S&P 500 at 3.28% compared to the Mosaic at 5.5% annualized return. Huge difference in terms of, let's take a look at the next chart in terms of what that means in your pocket. This is another strategy where you can help protect yourself in down markets. And if you're looking at, I think we have a slide, seeking consistent positive returns in uncertain times. And this breaks it down again and showing how each year that the market went, the S&P went, in those 2 periods we talked about where the S&P went down, how the Mosaic had positive returns. So from that whole period, not one negative year in the Mosaic. So what does all this mean to you? This is showing you that there are other strategies you can employ. Here's the other thing. I've talked about fixed index annuities, and the reason for that is this. I'm a registered investment advisor. What does that mean exactly? Well, basically, registered with the state. In offering investment advice to my clients, we have to, as a fiduciary, putting our clients' interests ahead of all others, including our own. That's the fiduciary standard that registered investment advisors operate under. I'm a chartered financial consultant, accredited estate planner, all these nice little designations and stuff. Just means that I've put in a lot of time, both in learning through my education as well as through experience and working in this field for over 25 years on things that work. And I'm always looking for the better mousetrap. I mean, if you show me something is better, man, I want to study it. I want to make sure, I'm going to question it. I'm going to, make sure that I'm not just getting some data mining that's showing me, that, oh yeah, it looks great in the 80s and 90s. Well, what didn't, right? We want something that is proven in good times and bad. And in particular, when things are a little rough, when we're concerned about market volatility, when we're concerned as you enter into retirement or nearing retirement, of protecting yourself, okay, against downturns. This is one of the biggest determinants of your success. It's called sequence of returns. If you hit a big downturn as you're heading into just before retirement, within the first 5 years before retirement to the first 5 years in retirement, and even the first 10 years potentially in retirement, that's the biggest determinant of whether you're going to run out of money statistically. Okay, so if there's a big downturn, all right, and you hit in this sequence of return, you hit a big downturn at this particular time, depending on where you're at in that retirement scheme. If you're already retired or if you're near retirement, this could be devastating to your retirement. So the important thing, especially as you, of course, if you're taking income from that, it makes it all the worse. And this could make the likelihood of running out of money all the greater. So protecting yourself, reducing down those potential losses or eliminating them altogether is so important. The other is having guaranteed income. So the most recent research out of Wharton School of Finance shows us that the best combination to assure we're not going to run out of money is if we combine stocks and fixed index annuities. So that's why I talk about them. I don't just pull it out of a hat. This is what the latest research has shown us, and this is what I've seen in my practice over the last 20 years, utilizing these with clients and seeing them actually work. And the research is more and more supporting that. Now we're saying that is, in fact, the best way to go. So I'm going to show you how you can put that together when we return. But first, we're going to take a quick break. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.